Hey guys, how you doing today? It's me, Kelly. So, I got so many emails asking me to do the transfers with inkjet pictures with white school glue and different things. Now, I have a request from, and I can't recall her name right now, for the wood. I've been promising her for a few months to do it on the wood. So I'm going to do a few, and then I'm going to try to remember, I'm horrible at remembering, to link my other video that goes through all these as well. And we're going to do inkjet printers. Now, most of you know that when you do transfers, that you need a toner, a laser printer, or you can take your pictures, you print them out like this, take them to an office store, Staples, Office Max, whatever you have, and you have them make a copy onto from their toner printer, which is laser. So that way they don't smear and everything. Now, I've been playing around for years using my inkjet, and so I want to show you a few things that I've learned, a few things that you can use this for with stuff at home that you might have, and that you don't have to go out and spend. Of course, if you want a very, a permanent, non-water soluble, because inkjet is water soluble, you go get your toner, copies. But I mean, this is fun to play with at home, especially if you're doing, I love doing backgrounds and whatnot that are very grungy looking and stuff like that. So this works great. But let me show you a few things. And first I'm going to do it on wood because that's what I promised. And I'm going to do the owl. And this is just printed out on my inkjet printer. No big deal. No big deal. And I'm just cutting it out. Leaving a little bit of the white around it for me to pull off. Throwing that little bit of white away. And if you don't want the white thrown away, save it and throw it in your art journal. Just glue it down. This is just your normal Elmer's washable, no-run school glue. Safe, non-toxic, which is always fantastic. And what I'm going to do is I have this. I have my brush that I've used 1,000 times. I'm not wetting it first. I'm going to, you might want to pour some of your glue out, but I'm just putting some on my brush, dipping it in there because that's just how I'm going to do it. And one swipe you want across. One swipe. Quickly. From top, from all the way over. Don't go over it again because that'll cause it to run. And place it down. This is our wood. This is just wood from the craft store, but any kind of wood you have. And I'm going to scrape it with an old credit card. Use your brayer. Use, I don't know, whatever you have. Your scissors. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you that I've learned, and I learned it the hard way, is you don't want this to dry because you don't want to have to use water to get it off. So this wood is not treated. Now I'm going to pull it up on a corner here. And I'm going to lift it. It's starting to dry a little bit. And you have a very light transfer, but no, it's not exactly what we want. And that could be very well that this is porous. I don't know, but I'm going to try it again. Now, watch what happens. And maybe it won't. Maybe I'll get lucky. And still, let me tell you, even though I'm doing this, it is snowing here. It's wet. It's damp. It's icky. That could have a lot to do with it. So I say, all these things, try at home. Because you might have a better way to do it. And your environment might be better. So who knows? So I'm going to put a little bit more glue on there because I didn't put as much as I should have. I'm not going to add water, but you can. Let's dip our brush for a minute and just add a little bit of water to make it a little bit more runny. Lift it up and stick it here. Wipe my hand off for a minute. I just love doing these videos to experiment. And I'm going to scrape it down. If you don't have, just use your fingers. You just want that to make contact with the wood. And then lift it up. And still, we don't have anything good going on there. So you can see the brush needles coming off. The brush fuzzies. But you can see that gives a nice little, I mean, you can use this If you have an inkjet and you know, I'll use this as part of this background because I won't throw this wood away. So that gives you a little bit of texture or something like that. But honestly, it didn't do that good. So this is on a piece of mixed media paper. And let's put this down on here and see if it does any better. Same piece. I didn't put any more glue on it. And I'm just scraping, scraping, scraping. Use my hands. Take this and pull it. Now you can see a little bit more. You can also see the brush hairs. But you have a nice little transfer there. And like I said, keep it on another second. We can do that with another one. But that's our white school glue. So let's see with our glue stick. This is just Elmer's Extreme Glue Stick. Use whatever you want. And I'm going to put it on that. That's just an inkjet letter. I'm going to do it like this. Now what I'm going to do is, you see how careless I am doing this. I'm putting it all over this. And I think I'm going to put it right here too on the paper. And let's see if that makes a difference. All right, cap won't go back on right now. I'm going to stick that down. I'm going to take my scrapey. Go both ways. And it didn't lift anything. Now, let me add a little bit of water to this, where I'm going to lay it, because this glue stick is very thick. Let me just lay this down. Hold on to it if you're scraping so it doesn't move, so it makes contact. And I'm going to leave this sit for a second while I go on to the next one. Okay, so let's use Mod Podge. And this is just matte Mod Podge, nothing special there. Dip it in. I'm going to put it here. This I'm going to put a thick coat, very thick. See if that makes a difference. All right, and I'm going to put a little bit right there where I'm going to put it. I'm going to stick it down. And I'm not going to scrape it. I'm just going to leave it sit for a second, and then I shall scrape it. Now let's lift this up. It's drying a little bit. Didn't lift anything off. Very funny. Didn't lift it at all. So let's wet this with water. Why not experiment and play? Now see, here's the funny thing. When I did this video the last time, I had the best luck. It worked so good. Like I said, I'll link the video. But so it depends on the atmosphere, the weather. And I'm just scraping, scraping. I want it to transfer. And you have a little bit of a print there. Nothing major. I'm going to just lay this down and leave it sit for a minute. And I'm going to go to this one and scrape. Scraping, scraping, scraping. Okay, and I'll give that another second. I'm just going to scrape this one again. Now let's try experimental. Take our brush. Let's go over this with water. Because the inkjet obviously will smear if there's water on it. So maybe it's because we have the heat on, it's very dry here in this room. It could be anything. We shall see what it will be. All right, I'm just going to squish a squish. You can see some of the ink coming out. You can see a little bit of the mush. All right, let's see what this bad boy. Oh, look at that. That's with Mod Podge. Look at that bad boy. Mod Podge, matte Mod Podge. I'm going to do a glossy one next. And that technique, and we got that. So we just leave that dry. Isn't that fun? Now what you can do is take the Mod Podge again very quickly. Dry your brush. Take a little bit of Mod Podge, just a little bit. And real quick, once, don't go over it because you'll smear. Don't keep going over it, but just put a coat on there. So as that dries, it becomes waterproof. Okay, so let's see what this bad boy did. It did nothing. Piece of poop. All right, let's put some more Mod Podge on this one and see if we get anything. So far, Mod Podge is the winner. Okay, so I'm just going to throw some Mod Podge very thickly on here. A little bit of water is on there as well. Let's throw this bad boy down. Let's give him a smush with our fingers. I love Mod Podge. And really, if you use your coupon, you can get a smaller one. You know, you can use it. I love white school glue, too. Did it do as good as I wanted it to? No. But that doesn't mean it won't work. Let me shut my Mod Podge and go on to my Collage Podge. Now, Collage Podge is basically Mod Podge, but a different name. And it's this little sweetheart right here, Tracy Batista, who I love. And this is, I got hers in glossy. Aileen, it's an Aileen's kind of thing. But I've been watching Tracy Batista for years. I love her. I love Aileen. I've been watching her for years and using her stuff. Her tacky glue, I love. So I like to support when I can. I love Mod Podge. I have all kinds of Mod Podge, and I was very blessed. A few months ago, Mod Podge sent me a humongous box of all kinds of cool stuff. Brayers and scrapers and glues and transfer, like so many things. And I was very blessed to get that. And I love their product, and I use it quite often. But this is the glossy. That's what we're going to use next. I'm going to give it a little bit of a shake. Okay, so let's go to town. And you can see how it's it's not as opaque. It got that clear in it. All right, let's lift this up and see. Yeah, that E's just not coming off as good as I want it. Give that another second because there is a little bit of water in that. Rinse my brush. I do notice, though, that the colors, like when we print out in color on the inkjet, it makes much better transfers. So let's get some Collage Podge. Let's just throw a bunch of it on here. Okay, a little bit right here ain't gonna hurt nothing. Let's take the owl. Obviously, I love owls, as you can tell. Let's put it down. Let's give it a little bit of a scrape just to get it and make contact. Okay. Put our Collage Podge away. Let's leave that dry a bit. All right, one more thing I'm going to try with the white school glue because I had such success with that white school glue before, and I'm going to try to figure out how I did it. Why it worked, what I didn't do. So I'm just going to put some of this on here. Not too much. Just that much. Maybe that's too much. Put the lid back on because I always tell you guys, because if you're like me, you'll end up spilling it. But if you're not like me, then you are very sophisticated and very well-rounded and don't make mistakes, because that is one thing I always do. I spill everything. A lot of glue on there. Gonna just rinse that off there. I don't know why I put that glue on the back, but I'm just gonna smush it down and give that a second to dry for a second. Okay, are you gonna come up yet? A little bit. It's getting there. I think I put too much water in that. If you want to know my professional opinion, which is not very professional, it's just my opinion. Okay. I don't know if you guys are having the weather we are here. Crazy weather. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And I have to get my husband to plug in my light behind me so I have a little bit more light over here because I feel like I'm in the dark corner, which I know that's where everybody wants to keep me. Baby doesn't like to be in the corner. But my husband stuck me over here. No, I'm kidding. Just being silly. I have the best husband in the world. No. Gonna scrape, gonna scrape, gonna scrape. Gonna scrape this again. Now, you see what I did? I went the wrong way. I should have went on the outside. I went on the inside and mushed it together. It doesn't matter. Just straighten it out and do your thing. All right, let's see. For whatever reason, this E is like, I'm not coming off, and you can't make me. Not that great. It took a lot of the paper off with the ink, which isn't a bad thing. you know, you can always clean up around it, but I'm not really happy with that. Interesting. All right. Let's see if this one, okay. So we're going to do this one. And that was just the glue. Yeah, see, I think it needs to dry a little bit more. Oh, my nose today. Dry, dry. Dry, dry, dry. Now, I don't have another printout because why would I have thought about that? I wanted to use gel medium, but matte medium, but I didn't. Now, this is all dry here, this one. And like I said, this one I love. Just, you know, if you're playing around and you want something a little more, you know, add a little bit of texture, or you feel like you're missing something, you don't have to do it now. You could do flowers, any colors. And that did really good. So, you know, not as good as this one, absolutely not. But to give a little bit of something, a little ghosting effect, whatever, I like that. Try not to get the little hairs from the brush in there, the bristles, you know. I don't know. Now, because I have no patience, and if you're doing this at home, you will. I put the water in there, and of course you have to let the water kind of dry before it goes on. But what I'm going to do is wet my brush and put it on top here. See if that'll help penetrate through. So what we've learned while this penetrates is that putting it on wood isn't very, you don't get a very bright color or anything like that. You get that little ghosting effect, which, you know, I think is fine. I think that's the transfer from the inkjet. Nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I would use that on, you know, different layers and all that kind of thing. Not hating it. You know, not the best thing, but you got a little ghosting effect there. The Mod Podge, by far, is the best. But you can see here, this is, you know, we have our Collage Podge here. Let's pull Collage Podge up before it dries. I'll just, Collage Podge, there you go. I'm peeling the paper off. Got a great transfer there with Collage Podge. So this is Collage Podge, this is Mod Podge, and this is probably a hot mess. Yep, this isn't doing anything for me. Nope, not doing anything for me today. So I will put the other video up though, where you can see where it was very successful. And like I said, it's cold, damp, icky here. So that could have a lot to do with it. My paper is really wet. I don't have I'm not sitting here waiting as long as I should, because I don't want to make this a 6-hour video. But what I might do, because these did work really well, I might pick up a Mod Podge and throw it in a giveaway, because I think everybody should enjoy a little bit of transferring. And if you guys try any of these, let me know. Tag me, let me know. Don't choke on your spit like I do all the time. But you can see, you can get transfers with your inkjet printer. And this, yeah, see, everything's very damp today. It's not going to dry unless I put up my heat gun. And, well, we know that I don't have my heat gun up yet. I did try to plug it in before I started the video, but I couldn't find the plug thing, so, you know. But hey, not bad, not bad. And you can see the difference in the colors of that one and this one, the browns, and this is more of a red brown. Now, you can see this has some fluffies around it. It's no big deal. Take your white school glue, whatever you want. White school glue is wonderful for several things. So just take a little bit of it and throw it real quick over this. So it kind of seals it for a second. You see it's not spreading, not running. And leave that dry. And now you can put the lid on the glue stick I just saw. And now, like I said, this is still, I don't want to paint on this because it's still a little bit tacky, but you're sealing it in a sense. So now you can go over with paints, you can go over with watercolor, you know, whatever you want, and it's not going to smear. You're right on there. So I hope this was a little bit helpful. Not as successful as my other video with it. Like I said, I think the weather and the heat and the dampness and it's all that fun stuff of winter and snow made it not as successful as I wanted it to be, but at least you get to see, and at least you can do with some Mod Podge some transfers or Collage Podge. Like I said, this is glossy. which if you use glossy, that'll kind of seal itself. You really don't have to do a seal on it. But I like to. I don't care. And this is the Mod Podge. So you can see how wonderful. Same printer. You saw it was on the same paper, same ink, same everything. And I hope that you learned a little something, something. Try all these on your own. Like I said, you might have way more different success with the white school glue or whatever than I did in this video, because like I said, the last video I did had great success. So it's all up, to what the weather and everything else is like. As always, be kind to each other. You never know what battle somebody else is fighting. I love you guys so very much, and I will be back with another video, and I will see you guys later.